Hello and welcome to Carson Model Sport's radio control car video. This video takes you through the first steps and shows you all the basics of your new Carson Model Sport vehicle. Even so, you should thoroughly read the instructions and bring them along whenever you use your model. Next, unpack your vehicle, remote control, and all the accessories that came with them, and place them on your work table. For operation and small repairs, you will need a few simple tools such as a crosshead screwdriver, a small pair of combination pliers, and a set of hex wrenches. Because all Carson models are built ready to run, there's less work to do before you hit the road. Make sure all of the screws are tight. If necessary, tighten any screws that are loose. Don't forget to check the wheel nuts. You should do this before every use. To use the included 3-channel remote control, you need 8 nickel metal hydride AA rechargeable batteries. For example, 2 Carson AA sets, item number 500609000, 4 2300 milliampere batteries. Always follow the charging instructions for the batteries and the charging device. Open the battery compartment on the bottom of the transmitter. When inserting the batteries, make sure the poles match. If you use the Carson Reflex Wheel Pro 2.4 GHz remote control, you need only 4 AA batteries or nickel metal hydride AA rechargeable batteries. Always follow the charging instructions for the batteries and the charging device. Open the battery compartment on the bottom of the transmitter. When inserting the batteries, make sure the poles match. Now open the model's battery compartment cover. To power the receiver, you need the 6-volt Unpacking battery pack with 1600 milliampere, item number 500608104. Now you can put the cover back on the battery compartment. Attention! Use only new or completely charged batteries to power both the transmitter and the receiver. For the next step, you must unwind the antenna completely, thread the wire through the included antenna tube, and plug the end into the input in the radio control box. Make sure the antenna is correctly attached. Otherwise, there may be radio interference. The shorter 2.4 GHz antenna is installed as shown. Now the radio control system is ready. Before every run, you need to perform a small radio control check. Always switch on the transmitter first and then the receiver. Check to see that the servo is rotating and operating correctly. First, the steering servo. When you turn the steering wheel leftward, the tires should turn left. The same goes for the right. If the tires move in the opposite direction, the transmitter's servo reverse switch must be shifted. Now check the accelerator and the brake servo. Pull the transmitter's throttle control. The carburetor must open all the way and the model should roll easily. Now push the transmitter's throttle control forward. The vehicle brakes and the tires should lock when the brakes are fully engaged. When the throttle control is moved to the middle, the brakes should be unable to grip and the vehicle should roll smoothly. The batteries are fully charged and your vehicle is ready to come to life. To start the engine, you need a glow plug igniter, which also must be fully charged.
For this, we recommend the Carson battery glow plug igniter set, item number 500905061, which includes a glow plug igniter with an appropriate charger. The built-in internal combustion engines are powered exclusively with special nitromethane model fuel. Take special care with this. Wear suitable fireproof gloves. Open the fuel can only outdoors and always follow the manufacturer's instructions. Squeeze the fuel bottle and insert the nose into the fuel can. Let up on the bottle so that it fills itself. Then slowly squeeze the bottle to fill your car's fuel tank. For the initial runs, we recommend Carson Nitro Fire Run-In Fuel. This makes starting easier during the break-in phase and is ideal for the engine's first hours of operation. Later, you can switch to 16% or 25% fuel. The higher the nitro content, the stronger the engine performance. After each use, make sure that the tank has been run dry or completely empty the tank using the fuel bottle. Before your engine can run at full power, it is important to break it in. This is the most important step for seeing to it that your engine always runs fast and sure. Not doing this could damage your engine and void the warranty. Take your time with the break-in phase. Your engine will thank you. The engine's carburetor has been preset at the factory. Set your model vehicle on a stable platform and make sure that the tires have no surface contact and can turn freely. For fuel priming, the throttle servo's arm must be 1/4 open. Never open the carburetor farther. Hold the exhaust pipe's outlet closed with a cloth and pull the rope starter 1 or 2 times until the fuel has visibly run through the silicone tube to the carburetor. Now, place the fully charged glow plug igniter on the glow plug and pull the starter rope a couple of times strongly and quickly. However, don't pull the starter rope more than 25 centimeters, otherwise the rope may quickly tear. After a few pulls, the engine should start. Let the glow plug igniter stay on the glow plug for another 10 seconds or so. Now, make sure the idle is even. Adjust this using the throttle control on the throttle servo. Let the car idle for 2 or 3 tank loads. Between fill-ups, let the model cool off for 10 to 15 minutes. Your engine's carburetor is preset at the factory and need not be adjusted for the initial startup and break-in phase. If the engine doesn't start or you have changed the carburetor settings, you must return the carburetor to its default settings. There are 2 ways to adjust the carburetor. One is for low RPM and the other for high RPM. As a default setting, the adjustment screws for both needles must be carefully turned inward until they stop. Then give them 3½ turns outward. Another reason an engine won't start might be a defective glow plug or an incompletely charged glow plug igniter. To check, remove the plug using a glow plug wrench. Hold the glow plug to the igniter. The plug must glow brightly. If it doesn't, fully charge the glow plug igniter or replace the plug with a new one. We recommend using Rossi glow plugs because they work
perfectly in built-in Carson Nitro engines and ensure long life. After checking, screw the plug back into the engine. Be sure not to forget the plug's sealing washer. The batteries are fully charged and your vehicle is ready for its first ride. Find a broad surface with no obstacles. Do not run your model on public streets or squares. Important! Check the air filter before every drive. If it is dry or dirty, it must be cleaned and freshly treated with Carson air filter oil.
Before you operate the transmitter and the vehicle, you must look around the area and see if any other model car enthusiasts are using the same frequency. If you are using separate frequencies, you're clear to start for the first time. If you use the Carson Reflex Wheel Pro 2.4 GHz remote control, you have a modern remote control with an FHSS system, which means Frequency Hopping Spread Spectrum. During transmission, the frequency is changed several times. This system offers the user a high degree of noise immunity.
Always switch on your transmitter and then your vehicle. When you finish, reverse the sequence. After the drive, switch the vehicle off first and then the transmitter. So, always switch the transmitter on first and off last. Then do a quick range check. Slowly move away from the vehicle. At about 15 meters, with the antenna slid in, the transmitter should have no interference. If any interference shows up at this distance and both servos jerk, there could be various causes. Make sure that no one else is driving on the same frequency. In this case, wait until the other driver stops running and shuts off his transmitter, or find a different frequency. The batteries in the transmitter or receiver could be too weak or not fully charged. If your vehicle still experiences interference, shut it off and see an experienced model builder or your dealer. Your model must not move when it idles. If it does, you must readjust the middle position of the accelerator and brake over the transmitter. The middle steering position must also be readjusted if necessary. Now drive in an oval at low acceleration. Just accelerate a little, never above half throttle. Accelerate briefly and let the vehicle roll. Empty 2 tanks of fuel this way. In between, however, you must let the engine cool for about 10 minutes. On the 3rd tank, then, you can briefly go full throttle for 1 or 2 seconds. Gently run this tank empty also. You can simply and surely stop the engine by using the Carson engine stopper. During idle, insert the tip of the engine stopper into the end of the exhaust pipe until the engine quits. Now you can optimize the carburetor settings to improve performance. First, though, the engine should be completely broken in. Give your vehicle a full tank of fuel and start the engine. Then run a few laps to get the engine up to operating temperature. First, we'll adjust the high RPM carburetor needle. Turn the carburetor needle clockwise 1/12 of a turn. This creates a leaner fuel-air mixture and increases speed and performance. There will be higher RPM and fewer exhaust fumes. You can repeat the process again. Performance will improve still more. But always be sure that enough fumes come from the exhaust, that the engine won't overheat. That would damage the engine. If the carburetor needle is turned too far inward, the engine will lose performance again or even stall. Then turn the needle another 1/12 of a step outward. The low RPM carburetor needle is preset at the factory. Therefore, in most cases, you won't need to make any adjustments to this needle. However, if you do make an adjustment, go by the same increments as when adjusting the high RPM carburetor needle. You can turn it until acceleration improves. If the RPM rises during idle, the idle becomes choppy, or the engine loses performance, you should turn the needle out again in 1/12 increments. If you don't like the results, start over with the engine's default settings. If the idle speed increases during the warm-up period and engine optimization, you need to readjust it. Turning the idle adjustment screw clockwise raises the idle speed. Turning it counterclockwise again lowers it. You have found the ideal setting when the RPM is low and constant and the engine doesn't stall on braking. Now you can step on the gas. Safety always comes first. Make sure you never injure yourself or anyone else. Soon you'll get used to your model's handling. With proper care and maintenance, you should enjoy your model for a long time.